Good afternoon, and thank you for joining the Skateboarding Rabbits of PCC podcast. Today we'll be discussing the ins and outs of being in a small group during the COVID-19 pandemic in the Spring 2020 Speech 9 Small Group Presentation Final Project. I am Aurora Lyons, the spokesperson for our group, and this is my third and last year at PCC. With this class and a few others, I will graduate with 2 majors, English and Communication Studies. During the pandemic, I have been a part of 4 small groups, this class, my close family, and 2 different groups at work. With me today are my group mates, Kaylin, Alan, Luis, and Frank. Will you guys share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Kaylin. This is my second and final year at PCC. I'm a communications and journalism major, and I've been a part of around 5 or 6 small groups, mainly just like friends, class projects like this one, work, family, some clubs I'm in, and then I've also been in this transfer chat for people going to my university, so that's another small group I've gotten since the pandemic.
Hello all, I'm Alan Rivas. This is now my 3rd year at PCC. I'm a communications major and I'm also working on getting my certificate for photography at PCC. I'm in probably like 4 groups comprised of just family, friends, and in school.
Hi, my name is Luis Furtado, and this is my 3rd and final year at PCC. I have been a part of around 3 small groups of friends and family, speech and debate group, and this one as well too. I am a communications major with minoring in deaf studies, and yeah.
I'm Frank Solorano. I'm majoring in communication studies and business right now. I'm a 2nd year, and I've been in 3 small groups as well. A group with my family, friends, and right here with you guys.
Thank you, guys. So my first question for you is, what have you been doing from home since you've all been stuck at home?
Well, mostly I try to keep active at home, mostly reading, try to watch movies and TV whenever I can. Helps me out a lot. Just keep the mind busy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've mostly been catching up on movies and films, and people always recommending things. There's always lists out there that people are like, "Oh, you should watch this movie." So I've been doing that. I've also been getting into repairing small electronics like laptops and sometimes cell phones and stuff like that. Mostly just been chatting with friends and movies, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Those are good things to keep you busy, and I've certainly been doing a lot of movie watching myself. So how have these activities that you guys have mentioned positively or negatively impacted your specific groups you're a part of?
I feel like it definitely positively affected. I mean, just gives you something more to talk about, and you can learn other movies and other shows that are interesting to watch, you just broaden your knowledge, I guess, on movies and stuff like that.
Well, for me, these activities have for sure, how you said, positively affected my relationships with the group I've had. I've been doing the whole Netflix party chat and all that, and watching movies, making sure that we don't lose connections, and we just do different activities just to make sure we keep up with each other and checking in on each other.
Netflix party chat, what's that?
It's basically just an extension for Chrome, so you can all watch a movie together.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some that are offer a video chat too, so you can all just chat as if you were on a Zoom call or something like that.
Cool, yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you could do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a great way to use movies and video calling to improve your relationships with your friends and the communication in a group. So you feel like these activities, watching TV and using the Netflix party, do you feel like they've made your relations within the group worsen in any way, or has it just mainly been improvements? And this can be any of the groups that you're a part of.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a little bit of both, just because being stuck inside's kind of made me just like isolate at times, or I just want to be by myself and just, just watch movies and just do stuff on my own. But it's definitely helped as well, just checking up on each other and stuff like that.
On the flip side, for me, it's been helping my group improve, because like we just like try so hard to like make sure we're all like together, and like make sure we're not all bored at the same time, so we can like keep each other busy, whether that's like we all download the same game or the same movie to watch together, just so we don't like lose that connection, and just so we can like all just stay sane together.
That's good.
Right, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I definitely personally relate to Alan's perspective because, while you're stuck staying at home, you have your family group, you also have your online friend groups. So it's interesting to see how everybody is taking part within these groups differently. Thank you guys for sharing about that. So my next question is about the peach and pit of working and being in school remotely. I know there's a lot of challenges working and being in school remotely, but I noticed that we've gotten more used to it. There's also been a lot of benefits. So what is the best part of working in a group remotely, and what is the worst part?
Well, personally, through my experience, I think like the best part of working remotely is like the fact that it might be antisocial, but the fact that like we don't have to be seeing each other all the time. Like I think that actually helps with like communications and stuff, because I feel like even though humans are social creatures, there are a lot of people that like deal with anxiety and stuff. Like I've dealt with things like that, and sometimes it makes it easier that I don't have to be looking at people like directly in the eye, or be facing like through confrontation and stuff, and I'm through a screen, and it helps me be more confident when I speak. And when I want to say something, I could say it with like it's much easier for me to say it. Like as for the worst part, even though like even though sometimes I have trouble like communicating with people like in person, I still think that it is much better like in person, because you deal with more things and you're able to bring up some more topics more of the times, like and through the screen, like you can't be like interacting too much, like it's not as fluid or it's not as rapid, like whereas in person, like everybody's communicating so fast, through the communication process.
Very cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like I sometimes struggle with anxiety, so just being on like online makes it a little easier to communicate and stuff. But I definitely miss just talking to people face to face and just socializing and just being around other people. But I'd say like my work ethic is a little better when it's online, just because I work at my own pace and I
Oh,
know what I
true,
gotta
yeah.
do. But yeah, it can be troubling too. Like I do lose track of work at times. But I feel like it's been better for me working online.
Those are some really great points you guys both bring up. Thank you. So as far as groups go and working within a group, have some of the groups been that you're a part of, so think back to like what groups are you part of that are small groups, have some of them been better or worse, being remotely versus in person?
Well, I would say like mostly with my friends. Like with my friends, I think it's gotten a little bit worse. Like not in a negative way. It's just like since I have a very big group of friends and stuff. Like with like 13, like just big circle, like 13 of us. So it's like hard to all of us like to get on Zoom, or to get on like something like Discord where we can all talk. And I feel like it's like negatively impacted us, because now like we haven't seen each other or talked to each other in like months at a time, and like that does like impact the relationship, especially since it was out of nowhere, and people don't want to like go out or hang out in person because they're scared, or whatever. um and in that regards, like it has like decreased, but at the same time it's also improved like some of my other relationships with my family. Like I can't really like talk to them on Facebook and stuff like that, but since they've been coming over a lot more, and we've kind of bonded more, as a small group, like with my family, since the pandemic, it gets us all scared. So we think like family is like the best remedy for that, and it's helped that, you know, in that regard. As for right here, well, I think it's been like the same. Like I think, like with all you guys, personally, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Just with my small group of friends, we haven't had the opportunity to talk as much and go out as much just because people kind of live far, and then the whole pandemic thing kind of prevents us from hanging out, and it's like we haven't been talking as much. But when we do hang, we recently hung out, and like it's just like we like never kind of stop talking, you know, we just get back to where we left off and like that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
like
cool. But
like a pause and play thing.
yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes that's important, you know, just focus on yourself, and then, you know, just do what you got to do, and, you know, people can understand, some people can understand and stuff. um as far as with my parents, it can be hit or miss, just because sometimes I feel like I just don't have privacy, so I just lock myself in my room and we don't really talk. But I do try to talk to them as much as I can. Just keep the good tempo going at the home, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that.
As far as you guys, I think it would have been cool to like do those little activities, but I mean, it's still cool that we're
Oh, true. We're gonna do the
yeah,
mazes or
yeah, that would have been cool. I've never done
the
that
puzzle
before.
rooms. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm really sad we missed out on that too.
no, stupid pandemic. But
Yeah,
it's still cool that we're like still working in the group and stuff like that, you know, getting work.
very true.
Just
So
important to communicate.
it is really important. Yeah. And I'm glad that, you know, we have this technology, Zoom, available so that we can communicate and try to work within a group. So, something that I know we've all been struggling with and wondering is what would have happened if this quarantine didn't happen. We all had best made plans that had to change due to the state of the world, and we were all expecting the semester to go a different way. So, my next question for you guys is what if we had stayed in person? Would our groups be better off or worse than it is now?
Well, I believe if we stay in person, our group would be a lot better than it is right now. Like for example, right now I feel like there's a barrier between all of us. And I'm not talking about like the whole virtual thing, but more of like a formal barrier. Like there's this like formality that I have to give each and every one of you guys because we don't talk as often as we would in person. And I believe that this barrier wouldn't really be here if we were still in person. I feel like this barrier would have been gone by like maybe like the second month of the semester that we were in or something like that, the second assignment of the project that we were doing, maybe even the first. And I feel like we would have had the chance to know each other more on more of a personal level and share each other's stories and like get to know each other a little closer and like learn about each other's like little habits or cultures or beliefs. And it's there like there's always like a possibility that the group like would stay like there's a possibility that like we maybe even may become friends outside of this, which is a pretty cool thought to to have. Because like in my experiences with other groups that I have outside of like my friend groups, we still like keep in contact or we go out to eat every now and then, which is like maybe like once a month even. Like it's a shame that this group didn't have the same chances the others did, but I'm sure that each and every one of you guys are just really nice, interesting people.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially with the part they're talking about, like the medium in person and stuff. Because I do believe like communicate like through the communication process, like there's a lot of like noise through this. Like we're not seeing our facial expressions or certain things and body language that we give off, especially when we speak. So we're not sure exactly like what we mean sometimes too. So there's that. And on top of that, also back to what Alan said earlier, we also missed out on the room.
The
So
escape room.
yeah, the escape room. So that would have definitely made the group way better because we would have gotten even more closer there because we would have had to be forced to like communicate at like a deeper level than we are right now.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for both sharing that. That is something that I've been feeling. I was really excited to get to know you all, and it made me really sad that we weren't really able to do that. We only worked on one project together in person, so I definitely relate to that. However, on the flip side, are there any conflicts do you think that we've had or that other groups have had that could have been avoided if we had been in person versus the pandemic? Or maybe any conflicts that didn't arise because we were all online? And this could be in work or in this class or in another class, maybe.
The most I can see for conflicts mostly would have been just timing. I believe it's just timing and scheduling conflicts. Like I'm because we're all pretty busy. You know, we're all adults now, and we're all busy with work or, like other classes that we have, or even like what's it called, personal family stuff that we have to do with. And sometimes scheduling is like a hassle. And even now, like we still have hassles sometimes with like getting online together.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. Timing definitely is like, I mean, just for an example, like I was actually late to this this presentation because I didn't know that we were starting at 1 because Alan had lost his phone. That's one of the problems. Like if you lose like your laptop, your phone, now you're like no communication. You're gonna have to borrow someone else's. Like if I would have lost my phone, I would have had to go through my laptop. But if I would have lost my internet as well, I would have been like, oh damn, like how do I communicate with you guys now? And yeah, like there's a bunch of challenges that could have arisen and stuff. Like, but some things that like wouldn't have happened probably would be like big conflicts, like big problems. Because usually when we get to meet each other more, like you get to see things that you don't like about a person, and it's very hard to do like right now to do this. So like, there's no way I'm gonna dislike any of you guys like through here, you know. But in person, maybe it would have been different or something. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
I
you
Right.
guys
get
wouldn't
that.
have liked me, or you know,
Yeah, there's always like a chance that's there might be just like tension between two people. It's unpredictable things.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Those are things that I've been thinking about with conflicts too. So, what are some other things besides conflicts or any other things do you think that would have been different if we had stayed doing in person classes or maybe in some of the other small groups?
Can you repeat that one more time for me, please?
Yeah. So, what other things do you think would have been different if we had stayed in person at PCC or if the quarantine wouldn't have happened? How do you think the last few months would have gone?
Well, we've been saying like this a bunch of times, but like honestly, like the thing that have been different would have been like we've like gotten, like how I said before, we're like much closer, and especially we are all just like very pumped to like really go challenge that escape room and see how, like, after all those months of working on assignments together, if we were to go to the escape room, I feel like we had a lot of fun, like helping each other out and learning like what's it called, like teamwork stuff between each other, and like what little quirks and like things that make us tick in each other like help to escape the room that we're supposed to be in.
For sure, I completely agree with him. Like, there would have probably like been a few things like different, like mostly just positive things. Like we would have just had like a better timing on things, because like timing right here was missed like a couple times, I feel like, or we're like
Right.
not on the dot. But since we were like mostly just doing it like right after class, it would have been much better. Like our timing would have been much better, and we would have been able to meet up like more consistently, in person over there if we were still like in person.
Yes, definitely. Are there any scenarios in other small groups that you're a part of that you'd like to share that you think would have gone differently?
Oh, well, with my friends, yeah. Well, I mean, since I don't hang out with them that much anymore, like in person, like I said, that I feel like that kind of deteriorated our friendship a little. Like not in a super negative way. It's just like when you don't see
Right.
someone for a while, you have to stay close to them to keep the bond. I feel, and like this summer we were gonna do like a bunch of things, so like that's canceled. uh, like it would have made our bond increase rather than decrease doing those
Right.
things. Whereas now I can't do them.
Yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of like things that were missed out between like friend groups as well too. Like for example, for me, I had a couple of concerts that I was looking forward to go to. They were all just like pushed a whole year back. What's it called? I'm pretty sure, like, since we're all transferring, I don't know if you guys were attending the graduation, but I really wanted to attend the graduation, but that was pushed back another year as well too.
Right.
And yeah, like Frank said earlier, what's it called? It's very hard to keep like friendships. close, because I do have like a couple friends who we haven't heard in a while, and like that's okay. It's completely okay. It's up to them, but it's just like it's a little like worrisome to like have to worry for someone, thinking that like hopefully that they're okay. Check up on them. Maybe if they don't reply, like it's completely fine. Like people just need their alone time sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah. So there's a lot of things this semester that, since a lot of us are transferring in this group, that we've missed out on. And yeah, I had a summer concert also. So thank you guys for sharing those things. So for our last topic of the day, mental health, this is something that I've personally been really struggling with. Being a somewhat shy person stuck at home who is used to interacting with a ton of different people on a daily basis in different scenarios, I felt extremely isolated and have had a hard time like committing to meetings because I'm shy, even though I know they'll make me feel better. So the most beneficial thing for my mental health, honestly, has been picking up art again. I've been painting and getting dressed for work, even though I'm not going out. But I want to ask you guys, how has your mental health been during the pandemic/quarantine?
For me, I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm naturally a very introverted person, so I need to like force myself to go to class, to go to work and interact with people. So now that I'm stuck at home, it's been a little hard. This is gonna sound so bad, but I don't like to be alone with my thoughts. But now that I'm at home, that's all that I'm like surrounded with. Um, and also it's just working at home, like there's no alone time for me because my workspace and my like relaxing space, they're all in the same environment. So like everything's melded together and there's no boundaries. So it's like I'm surrounded by work all the time. So there's nowhere that I can escape to. Um, Also, I'm in journalism, so I'm constantly being updated on like the current news around the world, especially at PCC. So the fact that I always have to stay informed about that kind of stuff, like there's no point where I can just take a step back and relax because it's like a 24/7 job. I always have to be updated on the latest information. So I've been very involved with all the COVID and the Black Lives Matter kind of things. So it's just been a lot to handle.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd agree with both of you. Mental health at the start of it was okay, and then I don't know, I guess I got lost in my own head, and just being on social media kind of just deteriorated my mental health, and just being isolated because like you said, Kaylin, I also tend to be an introverted person. So being in school, like forcing myself to like talk to people and learn from people, like that helps me out a lot. So just being alone kind of just messed me up a little, but I found ways that have helped me cope. One of them has been just going on walks with my camera and just taking photos of stuff that I think look cool. Another has been just meditating. When I wake up, I just get up and I just try to clear my mind and just try to live in the moment and not dwell on thoughts and whatnot. And that's helped me out a lot. And honestly, that my phone, now that my phone's broken, kind of not being on social media and stuff kind of has also helped me out a lot. Just living in the moment, definitely.
Thank you guys for sharing that. I totally agree with both of you. Social media has definitely been really overwhelming, and I can imagine what it's like for Kaylin being in journalism. So that brings me into my next group. So being a part of all these different, my next question. So being a part of all these different small groups in the quarantine, do you feel that the small groups you have been a part of have been supportive or not?
The small groups that I'm a part of have definitely been very supportive and helpful for me. The first one, the journalism group, like we have a whole editor circle, I guess you could say, and we all continuously check in with each other. A lot of us have been going out to report on and photograph the protests, so we're always like dropping our phone numbers, telling people to check in periodically throughout the day to make sure that everyone's safe. Um, and also the other group that I'm in, which I mentioned in the beginning, is that I'm in a transfer chat. So all the people going to my university, we're all in this big chat together. And like we host these weekly Zoom meetings where we can just talk with each other. And it's just nice to like joke around, especially during right now where everything's so stressful and frustrating, and it's a lot to handle. So just being able to talk to other people across like California or even out of the state or out of country, um, and get to know them and talk about trivial things sometimes like memes, it's been really helpful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same way. Normally, since I'm, well, yeah, I feel the same way because since I'm so introverted, just having little groups to talk to and communicate and share experiences does help you out a lot. Because I mean, I feel like humans are supposed to be social, so it's not too good to be completely isolated, and it could be bad on your mental health. So just forcing myself to communicate and listen has helped me out a lot.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear you guys are part of such supportive groups. Are there any specific qualities of these groups that are supportive that you could pinpoint?
For my transfer chat, I guess it's just the fact that we all know when it's appropriate to like joke and be funny with each other and when it's appropriate to actually address the serious things that have been going on, because it's really good to have that balance between acknowledging all of the horrible things happening outside, but also having that little bit of joke and humor to lighten up your day, as much as it can be given the current circumstances. So just, I guess I would say the quality is just, I don't know. I guess it's just the fact that we've all gotten to know each other over these past few weeks or months, and we're able to familiarize ourselves with how each person responds, like when someone needs comfort, when someone needs humor, stuff like that. Um, so I guess that's what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense.
Nice. Yeah, for me, the groups that have been supported would be my close circle of friends, just because they kind of know how I am. They know I'm like introverted, and they know that sometimes I just like to keep to myself, but they do check up on me just to make sure I'm okay, and like vice versa, I'll do the same with them. So I guess we just know each other well, and we know like when to talk to each other and stuff like that. And I think especially now during these circumstances that we live in, we talk about what's going on in the world, but we also just like to joke around and see how we're doing. And I think it's like a good little mix between the two. You need that in like a good relationship. You need a good mix between that.
Definitely. Thank you both for sharing. So I'm hearing that like these supportive groups are ones that are communicative and like they know when to communicate what, and there's like a really good balance in like the type of communication happening. So
Yeah, definitely. Like one person even came out to us over the chat
oh
because
wow.
because he felt that we were so supportive. So surprise, he's bi.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your experiences and being so open. So, in conclusion, we are the Skateboarding Rabbits. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope these insights have been helpful in analyzing the experience of small groups during the 2020 global pandemic. We also hope that this has been encouraging and educational, and that you are well and stay safe.